welcome to this week's Bed Rest audiobook of the week. This week's book is a non-fiction book, and I've decided to take a bit of a historical turn. Those of you who know me well know that I like a bit of history on the side when I'm not doing criminology or any kind of medical sociology type things. I like Victorian history and the history of the Russian Revolution. So I tend to watch a lot of videos, or as much as I can, about these two subjects. And it was by way of a documentary about the last princesses of Russia that I came by the book The Four Sisters by Helen Rappaport. It's an amazing book. It covers the reign of Tsar Nicholas II, who was the last Tsar of Russia before the revolution in 1917, and it covers the period not only of the revolution itself, but of Alexandra, his wife's childhood, and of Nicholas's childhood as well, and although it centres upon the Russian Grand Duchesses, it also talks a lot about the wider family dynamics, and covers the end of the 19th century through the beginning of the 20th century, and as well as the princesses, the Tsarevich of Russia, Alexei, is also covered extensively in the book. If you don't know as well, Alexei was the Tsarevich, which is like a prince of Russia, and he was diagnosed with haemophilia shortly after birth. Haemophilia was fairly widely prevalent in the European royal families of the time, probably due to the amount of intermarriage that went on, trying to keep dynasties going and things. What's so amazing about this book is that you sort of feel totally part of the text itself. You really feel like it's brought to life around you, and you can really visualise how life must have been then, and sort of visualise the perspectives not only from the princesses themselves, but also from Alexandra, the Grand Duchess's perspective, and Nicholas's perspective, and you can see how things sort of were interwoven, and like the family were on a sort of collision course with revolution, and they seem sort of wrapped up in each other. I mean, in many ways, if they'd have just been a normal family, they'd have sort of functioned much better as your average kind of family, because they were so wrapped up in each other and themselves that they didn't sort of understand the wider implications of how they behaved on the people they governed, and they were sort of completely unaware in many ways of what was going on around them. Their love for each other, along with the perceived ambivalence towards their own people, almost sealed their fate. If you were expecting a book about a grand family, the last Russian royal family were grand in name only. In many other respects, they were just like you and me, your average family. And through the pages of Helen Rappaport's book, you get to meet Olga, Tatiana, Maria and Anastasia, and learn about their different personalities and like what they bring to the dynamic of the family, and how they seek to help their mother with her own sort of mental and physical frailty. This book is a fantastic lead into the subject of the Russian Revolution, as it's very readable for both a layperson, and it's a good starter for any student on the subject. And it's a book that can be read again and again, as I have done, and I've got a new thing out of it every time I have listened. I've listened several times while I've been in hospital. It's very good for long hospital nights and equally longer hospital days, and it's always one I like to keep hanging around. I hope you find this review useful. Please like and comment, and I'd like to know what anybody watching likes to read or listen to, or what your favourite genres are, and what you're planning to read in 2020. I'll see you next week.